is broadcasted for women and girls only. Для женщин и девочек только. Иша, Иша.
With your help, I stay strong. I dedicate another song to you, my Lord, to you, my Lord. Every moment is a gift, and every chance I get, I lift my eyes to your throne, but only you can see us all. Every second miracles go on. You send them down, you send them down. And if only people noticed, there'd be mercy, peace, and love all over this chaotic world. With your help, I stand strong as my soul sings this song to you, my Lord, to you, my Lord. I am brave when you're here, you're beside me. I found you all along. I'm not alone. Every second miracles go on. You send them down, you send them down. And if only people noticed, there'd be mercy, peace, and love all over this chaotic world. You've given me all I have. You helped me through each way. You are so good to me. And all I do is pray. Every second miracles go on. You send them down, you send them down. And if only people noticed, there'd be mercy, peace, and love all over this chaotic world. Every second miracles go on. You send them down, you send them down. And if only people noticed, there'd be mercy, peace, and love all over this chaotic world. All over this chaotic world. All over this chaotic
Positive Life TV. С позитивом по жизни.
Каждый день не может быть хорошим, но есть что-то хорошее в каждом дне. Радио «Позитив» Плюс ТВ. Источник хорошего настроения.
Dear ones, and welcome back to TVK's show Miracles Go On for women and girls only on Radio Positive Plus TV. Today's topic is super special and very kind, of course. Kindness is something we all need and can totally benefit from, especially during this time. Well, Tivia here really got inspired to bring this topic on by a dear friend who actually wrote this very bestseller book titled Kindness in Marriage. Ladies, we are so super lucky to have Miriam Yerushalmi with us today, who actually holds masters in psychology and marriage and family counseling. Miriam has authored 5 self-help series adult books called Reaching New Heights. She has also published 25 children books translated into Yiddish, Hebrew, and Spanish, Russian coming soon. Let's all please welcome my dear Chabad soul sister and our dear author of Kindness in Marriage, Miriam Yerushalmi. My dear, say something.
Hi. So sorry.
Hello, my beautiful. You made it. You made it all the way from LA.
Amazing. I'll never forget the day I met you. Like, I was sitting there and my whole being was just melting from the fire of your words, from the fire of your soul, from the fire of the melody, everything, the words. It was like incredible. And then like I had to catch you. I said, I can't lose this neshama, because there were so many people. Like, I felt like, oh, here's the movie star, rock star. And I have
Miriam, it's about you today. Oh my God, thank you so much. The feeling is so mutual. I'm forever blessed. You don't understand. You're like my Chabad mama there. Thank you so much for holding on.
Thank you for this opportunity, really.
My dear, love you, and thank you for being here with us on Radio Positive TV. We're diving right into miracles, my dear. Miriam, we can't hardly wait to hear your personal miracle story. I know you're a walking miracle. Share away a miracle life story with us.
Oh my God, thank you. Oh, wow. So many miracles. We'll write a book together. That's the next on our to-do list.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. You know, when I'll tell you something, and I hope this miracle story really gives people hope, faith, and just the strength and the vigor to like carry on. You know, when about almost 33 years ago, Baruch Hashem, thank God, my aunt was on her way to a Sukkah event, actually, and it's now we're celebrating the Jewish holiday of Sukkot. And she ended up actually in a car accident. Thank God nothing happened. And she said, you know what? I don't know, maybe I should go back home. This is too much for me. I'm done. But something in her said to herself, like, nah, it's the holiday. I'm going to go. She goes. And I guess because of the car accident, she gets a flat tire like 10, 15 minutes later on the road, stuck. Finally, someone there to fix it. And again, she's like, okay, this is the sign. I really must get back home. I'm not going. But some miraculous thought that she had said to herself, like, okay, it's the holiday. I'm going to go. So she goes. She ends up at this sukkah party. And guess who she meets? This lovely man. And she next day calls me and she tells me, you know, I met this lovely man and I want to set him up for a date for you. And I'm like, what? Like, I was not interested at the time, not ready to get married. I was like, I had a whole year trip. I just graduated and that was it. It was my time to have a vacation. And she kept insisting, but I was like, no, thank you. Thank you. I love you, dear. No. Next thing I know, I get daily calls from my grandma, and she's like telling me, you must go out with him. And she wouldn't let me go. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to go, and I'm going to say, he's not for me. So I'll get everyone off my back and move on to my next journeys. Well, guess what? 2 dates later, like it was a miracle because I was proposed, and that night I was like all night thinking it through, and the next morning I jumped. And let me tell you the miracle of this, because, you know, my husband had been dating for 10 years.
Wow.
Every week he was dating this person and dating that person, trying to find his match. And why did it take him 10 years? Because at the time I was 12 years old. So he had to wait 10 years. So like, in a way, it was a miracle for me, even though unfortunately he had to wait that long, that he did have to go waiting for me. So I was like, you know, so many times people come my way and they don't know like what's behind the scenes, why. They don't know the full story of their journey. And every time I think of this story, just, you know, blatantly shows that sometimes the delays are, you know, just there for many reasons that our eyes cannot even see. We always have to try to hold on to the miraculousness of even the unknown that we're not seeing, because it will unfold. We will see the reason why eventually.
Wow, Miriam. Wow, thank you so much for sharing this deep and meaningful story. So what, he proposed to you on the second date, which was the following day, right? Wow.
So it was unbelievable, because for years I knew I wanted a certain lifestyle. I wanted a certain, you know, way of life. I wanted to move to Israel, and everything that was about him was like exactly like what I wanted, but not now, you know? So it was actually a miracle that I jumped in when I wasn't ready either. That was a miracle in itself.
Wow, and, Miriam. Wow, yeah. This is amazing. An incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing. We have so much in common. It's not normal. You're like my twin flame out there. But let's weave it into this kindness in marriage, because I know you're super inspirational, speaking all the time, you know, publicly, inspiring the world, all kinds of different communities. And you keep on coming up with these amazing books. You know, you have prayer and meditation. You're like my favorite meditation person out there. But today we're focusing on kindness in marriage. And this book has been like this #1 seller from all, I mean, all your books are great sellers out there, but what made you write this book specifically? It's very interesting to know, and you have 2 versions of it as well, right?
Yes, I actually made it a universal edition for everyone, because I feel like, especially now with what's going on in the world, like, you know, with all of the pandemic and with all the pressures and the stress and the finances, that we need extra support. We need extra eyes to see what we can do to really make a difference in our relationships. So way back, I knew as a young child, like I knew, like, if I'm here to make a difference. And I saw the challenges all around, and I felt like there must be some answer to like how to make relationships better. And years of, you know, master's degree in both marriage and family counseling and psychology, and years of learning, I felt like finally I kind of got to the key answer, some of the key answers of how to make a marriage work better. And yeah, in one simple word, kindness. You know, like, wow, how many times people are so kind to just like a salesperson, or the mailman comes or mailwoman comes, and they're like, oh, hi, nice, and like close the door, and then a different energy is to your own children, to your own husband, to your own wife. And it's like, how come? What's going on? What's the, like, why is it so easy to be kind to strangers, and yet somewhat difficult at times, if not a lot of times, with your closest, most beloved ones in your life?
Wow, you are so deep all the way. And, you know, coming from you, you're like the most kindest person I met. You know, you're awesome in every possible way. Miriam, you have 2 versions, and we're going to be covering the Torah, the one that's a Jewish edition today, with the Torah and Zohar explanations by you. I'm very interested to start a question. On page 16 of your book, it says, like, Adam and Chava, you and your spouse were chosen by Hashem to be partners. I would like you to elaborate on that question, on that topic a little bit.
Baruch Hashem, Hashem makes soulmates, and one part of the soul is in the female and the other half part of the soul is of the man, and God divinely created this amazing merge of two souls so that each one can bring about a wholeness to the other. So there's certain elements and certain qualities that a man has that a woman doesn't have, and a certain quality that the woman has that the man doesn't have. And they're destined to be reunited and connect and help each other grow and reach new heights in their development. But what happens many times, we have unhealthy connections to our spouses. We have a connection of, I want to feel loved maybe by you. I want to feel like a somebody by you. And so we're more sensitive to their behaviors, because when they don't make us feel loved or appreciated, then our ego, our hurt feelings can become a flame. And then the distance, or even, God forbid, the negative interactions can come about just because of a hurt feeling. So what I try to explain to be, it's we have a connection to each and every one of the people in our lives, and there's a rope or a string attaching ourselves to them. One is a healthy attachment. The other one is an unhealthy attachment. And our job on this life is to disconnect and cut away from the unhealthy attachments that we have with others, so that we can be our best selves. We can be that kind and loving and compassionate person that's in the DNA of our being. We were born with all these amazing, positive, holy energies in our psyche, in our mind, in our heart. But when our ego and our hurt feelings and our unhealthy attachments to other people come into play, that's when the disruption of the healthy connection to the other begins. So the first step is realize, I'm not here in the relationship. I don't need you to make me feel good about me. I'm here to be more godlike, to be compassionate, to be a giver, to be a lover, to be what I can and be the best that I can be, to be the example of what it is to have a healthy relationship. Even if the other may not be, where you're at in your own personal and spiritual development.
Wow, Miriam. Thank you so much for explaining it better. I love how you know that disagreeing is not a disaster. A man and a woman are not alike in nature after all, right? Disagreement happens, and is it possible to disagree most of the time and still maintain a kind and healthy marriage, Miriam?
Absolutely, because in the beginning, especially in the marriage, as the two are not so merged, and it takes time, you see a baby crawling, you don't expect it to run a marathon. So too in all life, accomplishments. You want to be a surgeon, you're not going to 1 year in college be the top surgeon. So when you want to have a top marriage, it's going to take time to evolve. So you're going to have disagreements. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. It's really true. And Kabbalah teaches it. So we're going to have possibly major, disagreements on major issues in the marriage.
Yet opposites attract, right?
Yes, because we need the other to balance ourselves out. So if you have an understanding about that, then you'll be more okay with the differences. You'll realize the blessing in the differences, and you'll realize with time, each other will experience the other's qualities and be able to then make that move toward the middle ground where there'll be less and less disagreements. So always,
I love that. Middle ground, common denominator. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and you have to I remember reading a book, The Explosive Child, and Dr. Ross Green says, you have to choose your battles. Like, what's the critical thing here that is worth investing, how to figure it out to get to that middle road? What is like, oh my gosh, God, people are dying of all these diseases, and is this really that critical to start such an argument and to have your way or the highway? You know what I'm saying? I always try to tell people, let's not work for a victory. Let's work for unity. That's so important, because there are silly, non-essential things that people are like making mountains out of really nothing. And then there's the essential things. And there's a way, not with anger, not with like, looking down at the other because they have a view that's so opposite you and like, hello, where are you? Like, are you on planet wherever? Like, are you human? Like, many times when you have someone not agreeing with your ways and your ideologies, it's very difficult, especially because in marriage, it could change a little bit along the way, So it's really, really important to like think about the essential things that are worth disagreeing about and then trying to work it out. And the other things, as Dr. Ross screamed, put it in basket C, like for a lot later days, like not now, like, because it's just going to be too much and too overbearing for the other to cope with too much criticism. Actually, I have to say, one time I was on a different show and I was listening to the previous speaker, and they said there's 3 rules to criticism. 1, don't do it. 2, don't do it. 3, do not do it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Wow. And who is more likely to criticize? This question just popped up. Who is more likely to criticize, the female or the male, Miriam?
I'll have to say probably the female more, but depending, the more you have self-love and self-acceptance and a self-understanding of like, you're not 100% perfect and they're not 100% perfect, so you'll less criticize, You'll understand how many times you've made commitments, New Year's resolution, that night, like falling prey to, blowing that standard that you so have been, yearning and longing to achieve. So when at a gut visceral level that it's not that I don't love the person, it's just that like being human in the human condition is that we're not born as angels. We have work to do in self-refining ourselves. So if it's so difficult for me, it's difficult for them. One of the main themes I go around and I say to people, look into your own tent, like look into your own pockets, look into what's difficult for you, what's not been easy for you. And don't have a double standard, because it's not easy for them too. And it has nothing to do with whether they love you or not. I promise you. It has to do with the human condition.
Well, Miriam, we all need to carry you and your book around, all of us. Miriam, let's jump to question number 4. We all heard of the 5 languages of love, and you touch beautifully upon it in your awesome book. How is it similar to the teachings of the Torah?
Well, first of all, the title says it all, kindness in marriage. So if you know the 5 languages, I'll say it now. There's words of affirmations. There's people that love quality time. There's other types of personality that just love getting gifts. Women, mostly. Acts of service. Some types are loving, like that's it. If you serve them their dinner, wow, you just took them to the heavens above and no more. Like it's like you can't imagine. They just thrive on acts of service. And that's
especially steak, right, Miriam? Steak with French fries. Does that work?
You're so cute. And then other people love physical touch, and some don't. Don't touch me, help me. Like I need your help. That's what makes me thrive. That's what makes me show me that you love me. So you have to understand that other people may not be in the same alignment as what you enjoy and what makes you alive and what makes you feel loved. So when you investigate these 5 languages of love and you see that they love to be hugged and cuddled, and maybe you're not the type, maybe you grew up with nobody hugging you and loving you, so it's difficult for you. but realize that to make the marriage work, step out of your comfort zone a little bit. Be kind to them and their needs. And that's what marriage is about, is getting out of the comfort zone, working on yourself to defy even the nature you or the nurture that you didn't get, and be kind and be giving to the other what they need.
Right.
And don't take personally when they don't necessarily or can't at the moment give you like you want it.
Wow. Furthermore, in your book, you state that kindness to your spouse is kindness to yourself, actually. Right? So I think we can also add that this is also kind of a great kindness gift to your kids as well, right, Miriam?
Absolutely. Like, for instance, if something's very challenging for you and you overcome your nature to be giving and to be more kind, for whatever reason that it's been difficult for you, then it's like you're developing your spiritual muscles. You're developing your character traits. You're developing the best you, which is going to create a better version of you. And what better place than in the house to give the example to all the members of your family? And, whether it's in your workplace, whether it's in your home environment, wherever you are, you're a walking example of what you will gain from being that giving person to the other. It does become a kindness to yourself. Because in the end, by the way, it will influence them and they will be kinder and they will be more loving to you. It's just a natural byproduct. You have a friend and she's like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. Like, I love you. You're going to feel more love toward them. And they're coming over and they're helping you. I had a guest yesterday. She helped me up till 1 a.m. We had a party here. I love her. I mean, she was so kind. Like, who wouldn't want to love her more? So when we are kind, in the end, we just benefit. We benefit more love. For sure.
That is awesome. Wow, I can't wait for you to share some of the tips with us here. By the way, girls and ladies, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and text them to us at 347-489-7042. And we'll be also accepting live calls from you at 917-609-8929. Miriam, dear, we hear over and over that silence is golden. You actually speak about the strength of silence and this awesome silent connection. We usually hear that, husband and wife need to communicate, but I guess at some point, too much communication isn't good either. So what's this silence rule that you teach about?
Oh my goodness, this is such an important ingredient. I think it's like on the top 10 priority of like how to make a great marriage, which is basically.
But we women like to talk. Us,
right. We have the gift of speech, right? Look, sometimes people see this as a negative thing, a silent treatment. You did this to me, I'm gonna ignore you. I'm gonna walk away, put my back towards you, and negative energies and fuming energies. Okay? I'm not talking about that.
Not that kind of silent.
I'm talking about there is a way to be silent and get a point across. Sometimes you have to deal with certain things in your home, and you could show by your eyes that you don't really approve without having to criticize them. I'm not even talking about that. That's also, real important. But I'm talking about silence so that you can speak righteously. Sometimes your heart is beating and you're feeling like there's so much anger or there's so much hurt. There's just too much emotional energies flying around you, in you, that your mind can become discombobulated. Your emotion can take over and you can flare up and say things that you'll regret after. So anytime you feel body sensation or that you're about to lose your cool, get to that mode of being silent to calm the inner storm inside so that you can work through whatever you're feeling at the moment and not speak. Because you're going to end up saying things that's just not going to be healthy and good for the relationship. So then once you calm yourself down, take a deep breath, even meditate that you're in some, romantic getaway. I don't know, whatever you can. So then after you've taken the steps while being calm and remembering why you married them and to remember their good qualities, and then after you can speak more righteously, then you're going to speak from your good heart and not the emotional, like, hurt heart that's going to end up, having that kind of like, putting a gasoline on a burning fire. You just don't want to do that. You want to, like, help put out the fire of the other. And so stepping away, becoming silent, not in a negative way. Like, you could just say, like, you know what? I'm not in my right sacred space right now. I'm just going to step out. I'm going to, just think things through. I love you, even though, you feel like you're lying at the moment or you feel like it's not the truth, but just like anything, like, because that's the truth, really. That's the truth.
Although you want to get that pen, the heavy pen, and you're ready with it in the kitchen, right? You're like, I'm just going to wait and cool off.
And then you'll be able to be more stoic. You'll have more self-regulation. You'll be able to be mindful of the words that are going to come to unite you with the other, rather than the words that can cause the disharmony and worse.
Wow, Miriam, thank you so much. You explained it so thoroughly and so nicely. It's unbelievable. Ladies and girls, stay tuned. We'll be right back after our musical break. Here comes a song about us. Enjoy.
When I close my eyes, I reminisce your smile. How we met that night, I knew I've seen that sight. You were speechless and my darling, so was I. But I felt our souls intertwined. And many years from now, perhaps if heaven will allow, we'll grow together very old, just like I had foretold. Just like I had foretold. You caress my skin with your majestic hands, like you did so many lives ago. Such pure love, my sweetheart, never ever ends. And I swear that I'll never let go. And many years from now, perhaps if heaven will allow, we'll grow together very old, just like I have foretold. Just like I have foretold. If you'll be in sorrow, I will heal your pain, and in blissful moments I will be your joy. I will love you stronger over and again. Love is kind and should only be enjoyed. And many years from now, perhaps if heaven will allow, we'll grow together very old, just like I have foretold.
Positive Life TV. С позитивом по жизни.
Awesome topic, kindness and marriage on TVK's show with Miriam Yerushalmi today. You can now please text us your questions at 347-489-7042 or call us directly at 917-609-8929. We're waiting for your awesome questions. And in the meantime, I would like to read some testimonials from Miriam's book that she got from her viewers and readers. Here is what women write to Miriam. I no longer see anything dark in my life. Now my marriage is really working out for the better. I am no longer controlled by negative thoughts or impulses. Our marriage is loving instead of filled with tension and hatred. Miriam Yerushalmi is a God-sent presence. Wow, Miriam, you're incredible. Hashem. I'm getting some questions already. And here, Miriam, are you with us?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So here's a question from caller 2789. What are top reasons for difficulties in marriages today?
Tough difficulties. There are many, unfortunately. I'd say one, just a lot of ego, like the ego of wanting a certain way of life, wanting one's way, wanting to be heard, wanting to be loved, wanting, so much wanting that it gets in the way of being a giver, of being, the best one can be. I feel like there's, the challenge is what I call the mushy mind syndrome, and hopefully we'll have other chances to go more in detail about that. But, we're born with our heart that is emotional, that works 3 to 4 times faster than our rational mind. And so when we see people and they do things, it really hurts our feelings, and our emotional part of our brain is activated first and foremost. But science and even the Torah teachings is that we can, work to upgrade and make our rational part of our mind 3 to 4 times faster than our limbic part of the mind, which is connected to the emotional part of our being. So the more we can have positive mindsets, like, I'm not 100% okay, they're not 100% okay, so don't take it personally. It's okay. They had their moments, I have my moments. Or, I'm here to unite, not to win a victory moment. All these kinds of positive mindsets, as you plant the seeds in your garden of your mind, the more your rational part of your mind increases, the more you have the ability to override these emotional triggers. And it's not impossible. Neuroscience is showing it, that we can create new neural pathways to override our DNA and natural tendencies of our emotions.
Wow,
I'd say that's the number one problem.
Wow. So instead of desiring, we should just be grateful and accept, correct? We have a question.
We do desire for the ultimate goodness of our partner, for their sake. We do desire to have love and unity, to bring more goodness and kindness into the world. It's very desirable to have these desires. But we have to balance that desire with the understanding of the human condition. We can't ignore the human condition. We are not robots. We have feelings. We have our weak moments. We have our days that we're flying and we're strong. And so too the other. So we have to realize that we cannot force a double standard on others. I can tell you even a personal story myself. I didn't have children for 8 years. Talk about the miracle that day.
Wow. Yeah, we like personal stories. Share away.
Yes. And it was like, I longed and I yearned for a child, and yet, once I had my baby, and once I realized it was so much more difficult, and once I was falling prey to my not so perfect self, the more I was so frustrated that it got in the way of me being the best that I wanted to be with my child. It wasn't because I didn't love my child. I was lovesick for my child. I didn't want to not look at the child. No babysitter. I waited for that baby. But yet I wasn't in the beginning able to have this self-mastery of myself in the way I was relating. And so and I realized that it's not about whether a person is loving the other or not. It's about your own self-acceptance of the human condition and working to realize, yes, let me put the effort to be better and better, but let me be at peace with the process. It's not going to happen in a blink of an eye that I'm going to be the best wife or the best person that I want to be. It's a journey. It's a process.
Wow. Wow, Miriam, we got another question right here. What to do when you are so kind to your husband, but he is not at all kind to you?
Well, those of us who have experienced motherhood, you know, the baby will have a tantrum. The 3-year-old will say, but you still do the acts of kindness. You still cook for them. You still do what's good for them because you know it's a baby, right? Okay, so a spouse isn't a baby, but we're all in the process of becoming a better version of ourselves, a better and better. And so when you put on that kind of perspective and say, wow, they're not kind to me, maybe because they didn't have the nurture of in their childhood, maybe because they have a little more work to do to create those neural pathways, you know, and let me be the example, just like I want to be an example to my children, that even though sometimes they're not going to be nice to me, I'm going to be nice to them. Because
Wow,
I'm the one that's going to be the role model for that self-regulation. So if I'm not going to be showing them that I can be kind, even though that they're not so perfectly kind at the moment, then like, what am I here for? Like, that's the whole point of me being a role model in this family and in the world at large, everywhere, not just in the home.
Wow. We have a question from a Woman of Valor group here. How to reconnect with your spouse?
Wow, that's like a 10-hour course.
Oh, wow.
But
so
how to reconnect? First of all, forgive. Because if you don't forgive and you're keeping the score of what yesterday, and women, okay, I'm a woman. Sometimes we keep a score for how many years? We have to learn. Yeah, we have to learn God's ways. God every day, 3 times a day forgives us. And he accepts our forgiveness every second of the day, actually, but we formally say it in the prayers, right? But if we can more forgive and find that compassion toward their struggle, like I say to people, you know, if a baby is stuck under a car, like, would you get angry at them that they're stuck? You'd have compassion that they're stuck. So if you can forgive and have compassion for their challenges of becoming their better self, then you'll be able to ignite a more and deeper love for themselves. There's a pasuk, a sentence in the teachings of the Torah that says, through compassion, you can redeem your love for the other. So if you begin to arouse the compassion, it's from Tanya, actually.
My name is Tanya in Russian. I love that.
Yes. So, and it's brought down in the Zohar that through compassion, you'll be able to arouse the love in them, meaning you'll have more, of an arousal of a love toward them, and you'll redeem their love for you. Like, there's a great mystical power to having compassion that you'll be able to arouse these feelings. You know, there was a story that when our patriarch Yaakov was meeting his love of his life, Rachel, for the first time, he wept and almost like cried on her. And the sages teaches us that he was empowering all the people to have compassion on the other. Like, that he was ingraining in our DNA of our soul to, instead of take personally someone's weaknesses or behavior, that we should feel the compassion toward them instead. And that has the power to unleash all the amazing qualities that they have in their psyche, in their mind, in their heart, and their soul. It's like
Wow,
a secret
Miriam.
ingredient.
Wow, thank you so much. We have another question. We have so many questions. I don't know. I don't even know how to get through this because we have a few minutes left till the show is over. But let's do this one awesome. Yeah, but you're doing great. I mean, we're loving this. This is amazing. What to do with TV and phone addiction and/or other addictions that the spouse might have? How do you accept that, Miriam?
Honestly, I think that's the number one plague for today. It's a big competition out there, and what's available, so available. I'd say to begin to break the habits would be to fill your addictions together. Like go together on the phone and see like a nutritional, video or a Torah class or inspirational things that are out there in the world together. You know, everyone's in their own rooms, on their own phones, watching their own thing. So if it's going to happen, maybe try like say, every day this hour, whether it's a half an hour or 15 minutes dedicated to be addicted together at least. And to do some good things that will inspire the family. I also suggest that to fill your life with more of kindness and do together, things that can bring pleasure to the family, not only in your own family, but go out there as a family and help the others that are suffering. I used to take my children twice a week. We would take even back then a taxi and pay money to go volunteer, in all different places, whether it was when I lived in Israel, when I lived in Great Neck, when I lived in Crown Heights, all over the world where I went and we would go to hospitals and we would buy presents and we would go and give presents to the children. Now it's not so easy to do with all that's going on. But where there's a will, there's a way. We can find out how we can, even in our own home, be addicted to doing acts of kindness together as a family. Because if everyone has nothing to do, what are they going to do? Oh, okay, there's no plan, nothing's going on. So they're going to go into their own room, into their own world.
But what if they're not interested in your plan? What if you want to do it and they don't want to do it?
There's a way. There's a way to entice. You can reward. You can do all kinds of things to like arouse their desire to do it. And yes, it might be very difficult. And definitely pray and meditate that they're going to want to follow your ways and break the addictions. And visualizations have an enormous impact. I mean, there was so many studies. One, like there were 2 sets of rats and 2 different, professors that were going to train these rats to do a maze. And one group of professors were told these are rats that are retarded, and these rats are like above IQ for rats. And they were all the same rats. Guess what? Because of the thoughts of one professor and their group had on the rats, that's how they succeeded. So if we spend our time getting off of our phone, meditating, visualizing, seeing them be more loving, seeing them be more kind, seeing them be more open to be with us, to do more acts of kindness, I'm telling you, it has an impact. And I've seen it with my own eyes again and again.
Wow, Miriam, the radio station has given us additional 10 minutes. They're loving
Wow.
you.
Thank
Go
you.
Radio Positive Plus TV.
Wow.
I have a question here from a Woman of Valor group asking how to get your spouse to change.
When my daughter was 11 years old, a miracle happened. I witnessed her like writing a song, Change the World by Changing Yourself.
Wow.
We're not here to change anybody. That's not our job. Our job here is to be the example. Our job is to look in our own tent where we can change. Where can we be more tolerant? Where can we be more loving and accepting? Their standard is for themselves. Your standard is for yourself. As much as you desire and yearn and long for your children's sake, right? It's not for you. You want peace and harmony in your home. It's not a selfish desire. But the more you let go and let God, the more you say, I can't micromanage my own self-development. It's not so simple. So kind of like, how dare me to like demand that they change when it's so difficult. Change is not easy. But what I do suggest people is don't change. I'll tell you why. Like most people, I go to different seminars all around the world and I come in and I'm like, I'm here to help you not change. And they're like, what? I want to grow. I want to change. I said, minimally, the goal is don't let other people change you. You are happy. You were a moment ago so serene with the male person or with in the line in the market. And like all of a sudden you're just like, because this person did that to you, you change? Don't become enslaved and enthralled and dragged down by the other. That's your mission. That's the reason why you're here, not to change. And then when you are loving and accepting and tolerant, they begin to change. It's there was a story of a man who wanted to change the world, and it's a famous story. He could even change the world. He decided maybe my country, maybe my block even, he couldn't change. He said maybe my even household, he couldn't change anyone. So then he decided, you know what, let me change myself. And he started. And then that changed his family. And then the family changed the block, and he changed the world in the end. And I witnessed my daughter as she was writing this song down. Hopefully by next radio, we'll put my songs. I did songs with her, and we recorded it. We have 2 CDs. Well, I'll get it to you, because that's the message. We have to let go. And we have to just love and be kind and be accepting. And that draws the other's powers. And it's a mystical power. When it's magical what happens.
Amen to that. Wow, Miriam dear, I would like to thank you for being on my show today and for spreading love and kindness. And of course, I would like to thank you for my very own kindness in marriage copy, autographed. I have the best words written my way here. Thank you so much, my dear. I hold it very close to my heart. Miriam dear, we would like to give you a final word. What would you like to wish to your audience today on Radio Positive Plus TV?
As we just said, don't change.
Oh, I love that. Be you.
Oh my gosh. We should just always have, a blessing of an open heart, a blessing of a wise heart. The ability to really have the mastery more and more over our base, tendencies of our emotions, so that with wisdom we walk the walk and we talk the talk. With wisdom and with patience, and that we can be so much of an example to not only your own family, but to everyone you meet around the ways. But only with that type of strength, that we should just already see so much goodness and kindness in the world. That it's just like you can't imagine one person and their power. One little light can just dispel so much darkness. One little smile when you didn't feel like it. One moment of a kind word when it just was so hard for you. It's just goes such a long way. And I pray for everyone. I know it's not easy. It's really not easy. I know, but we just can't give up, and we have to keep trying, and we have to keep our soul on fire in a good and holy way, rather than, the emotional part of our heart that could be on fire, and the opposite of what we all talked about here today. So my dear soul sisters, keep on trying. You'll get there, especially with kindness in marriage.
Amen. Wow, you inspire me always, all of us. Our awesome and very deep topic is coming to an end today, and I would like to also wish you all a miraculous and joyful Chag Sameach and a healthy and a very kind home, just like Miriam has wished for all of us. Miriam, from your mouth to Hashem's ears.
Love you forever, and forever holding your hand. I am so thankful Hashem said, grab her hand. Because we've been going through a lot of journeys, going here and going there, speaking there at dinners and singing. And it's been amazing being part of your life and your journeys and your exciting accomplishments. So so happy we had a chance again to partnership here.
Awesome, thank you. And dear viewers and supporters, thank you so much for being on here and supporting us. We have tons of comments and people watching us. This is incredible. Baruch Hashem. Miriam has many more topics. One of my favorites is prayer and meditation. Miriam, will you come back and do that with us next time?
Absolutely. Actually, I would like to also come back for the health one. And I want to just announce that, like, I wrote a lot of what's in my adult books in all my children's books. I have over like 26 children's books in Yiddish, in Spanish, in Hebrew, and all of them in English. So, Baruch Hashem, I invite you to check out my page. I have classes on YouTube, on Torah Anytime, and I'm on Facebook. And please join so that we can continue to reach new heights, all of us together.
The one and only super awesome Miriam Yerushalmi. Dear ladies, tune in every Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m. with Tivia K on Radio Positive Plus TV. Miracles go on. Once again, my show is for women and girls only, an all cool Isha show. Do not forget to download our app on Google Play and App Store. And watch us live on Facebook, of course. Our videos are also saved and posted on YouTube. And finally, I would now like to play and dedicate an original song I wrote for my beloved husband, whose birthday is actually coming up tomorrow. So here's a little happy upcoming birthday shout out to my better half, Albert Abraham. Thankful for you. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Goosebumps playing on my skin, and I know that this is real. How I love to hold you tight and thank the Lord throughout the night. And I thank the Lord throughout the night. Everything turned out alright. Everything turned out alright. God is so kind. Ooh, God is so good. I am so thankful for you. God is so kind. what was unseen. Have been praying for some light in the midst of darkest night. In the midst of darkest night. Ooh, God is so kind. Ooh, God is so good. I am so thankful for you. God is so kind. Ooh, God is so good. I am so thankful for you. Goosebumps playing on my skin.
Вай-вай, где Wi-Fi? Вай-вай, где Wi-Fi? Вай-вай, где Wi-Fi? Вай-вай, где Wi-Fi? Где Wi-Fi? Вай-вай, где Wi-Fi? У меня право Wi-Fi. Вай-вай, где Wi-Fi? Ты меня не покидай. Вай-вай, где Wi-Fi? Пишет милая бай-бай. Вай-вай, где Wi-Fi? Ты со мной